Hello, Jimmy from Hairy Campers. Today we're in Cooktown and we stayed for the last 2 days at a place called Orchid Caravan Park, which is right there. And Elizabeth was really good. There was no drama whatsoever. I was speaking to a bloke from Victoria Way, Tony, and I said I'd do a couple of shots of these retired pieces of armour here, but instead of doing a couple of shots I thought I'd do a video, and videos for you, Tony. Tony's an ex-serviceman, so we'll do it that way. So what we're looking at here, this is a German built Leopard. Now these Leopards replaced what we had for a very long time. We had Centurions and a few other bits and pieces. We may have had some old patterns laying around, and they were all petrol driven tanks that had been uploaded, remodeled, done everything they could do to get them up to a standard. But like I said, the Centurion was probably a 50s design tank, not something we used them in Vietnam at the Battle of Long Tan, and they done well at the Battle of Long Tan. But in saying that, they were petrol, and they had a 500 litre tank at the back of them, all petrol. So as you can see, Mr. Wilson's down on the sign. You can see there that it's I'll tell you a bit more about it in a minute as we go around it. But this is what it's all about. This thing here. This is a British designed 105mm. Fires a multiple of sin. It fires an armour piercing round. It fires a HG, which is heavy explosive, or high explosive, sorry, and it also fires a frag, which is anti-personnel. So that's what it's designed around. It's designed around 105mm. Everybody calls it a howitzer. Not a howitzer. It was designed in England to go on the Centurion. So that's the gun we use. It's a lot lower than the Centurion, and the Centurion had steel tracks. This one has steel tracks but also rubber tyres. So that allowed it to drive up the road without destroying it. The engine was a V12 MTU of about 700 horsepower. It wasn't underpowered, but it wasn't grossly overpowered. The armour, it was standard armour, standard reflective armour, no chopping, no reactive armour on these. Now we brought 90 of these in the 70s, so we used about 1977 we started buying these, and I think we ended up with about 100 odd. Now the difference is these are what they call a live track. So that means it's a very fast tank because the track runs on the bottom, but it also comes back across the top and over the top of the idlers, which makes it a live track. So it doesn't have a set of high-speed idlers at the top. It has reflective. This is all reflective stuff. It looks like rubber, but it's an armour type rubber, so it will deflect anything to go through it. This was pretty standard cables on them. Grenade launchers. These grenade launchers were, if anybody was standing where I'm standing or over near that tree and were a threat to this tank with an RPG, then they could launch out of those grenade launchers. They could launch smoke, they could launch grenades, they could launch practically anything. 50 caliber sat on top. The engine bay was here. Now the gun around the back, around here, just here, is when you turn the turret around and you wanted to make the gun secure, that's where you put it. You put it in that rack there, and that held the gun and turret secure in travel. So if you put it on a train, or if you put it on a, we didn't put them on trains, we put them on their own transport. So if you put them on transport, you would do that. Okay, up along this side, exactly the same as the other side. Drive from the rear through a transmission. This is before my time, so I can't tell you too much about the transmission. You stand back here and have a look at those tracks, you'll see those rollers, they all have rubber on them. The ride of these things, I believe, was not too bad. Not too bad at all. But that was replaced, and only replaced in the 2000s by the M1A1 Abrams. So now we go into my era up here, and I know the ins and outs of these things, and so does Tony. This one, like I said, this one here I know a lot about. Diesel engine, M113 APC. Everybody called them a tank, they're not, they're an armoured personnel carrier. They have a 653 Detroit multi-fuel engine in, and a 6-speed automatic Allison transmission pre-select. So when you drove these, you drove first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 6 and lock up. So you could lock up in any gear. You could go first lock up, so no torque converter, or you could go second lock up, and that the driver sits here. The driver sits in that compartment there. He carries the most armour. Crew commander up the top up there, not as much armour as what is here. These things are all made out of aluminium, and they weigh 10 tonnes. That's the only way they could get their weight down. Like I said, 653, look, only 150 to 200 horsepower, all depends what the configuration was, but multi-fuel engine. Same thing again, live tracks, and with the pads on them. Wasn't a bad ride in these things. These would do 60 mile an hour. Very dangerous at 60 mile an hour, but they would do 60 mile an hour. If you notice, they don't drive at the back, they drive at the front. The final drive is just like a normal diff. At the rear, if you had to change the track in these, you could split the track anywhere along here, anywhere. It didn't matter where you wanted to split it, you could split the track anywhere. Didn't take long at all. The tailgate, the emergency release on the tailgate to gain access was here. That tailgate also folded down. So inside there, 10 grunts. So you had 10 grunts that sat inside there, you had 5 on that side, 5 on that side. Crew commander up the top, radio operator on the left hand side behind the driver, then the driver. Extra fuel, I don't know. I've never ever, even in my time, we never carried extra fuel. Because they weren't paid on fuel. Turret. The turret's the only steel part on the whole APC. Those prisms there will take a 30 calibre and not break anything. You've got a cargo hatch top up there. Now if you drove with the cargo hatch up, inside that cargo hatch on the floor is made out of magnesium. So if you cop a grenade in there or anything, you could set fire to the floor. So that's the description of the 113. There was a multitude of SIN. There was a 113, there was a 117, there was an ARV, Armoured Reconnaissance Vehicle. It used to carry a big square box in the back, no grunts. And in the turret, at the top up there, I'll tell you where the only armament that it had was just here, and that was fired by the crew commander. You had a 30 on the left and a 50 on the right. The only bit of armament there was. As I said, it's an APC, not a tank. It doesn't defend itself. It delivers personnel to where it needs to go. This here, everybody asks me what this is. It's what they call an artificial bow. That made out of ply, and what happened is to go in water, you had to fold this artificial bow out like that, and that would deflect any water from going up into the driver's compartment, because you used to drive with the hatch open, because if you took on water and it started to sink, you want to be up here. So that's the fold down. As I said to Tony that I would do a couple of shots and send down to him. Sorry mate, I decided to dedicate this video to you, and I believe you would know what this is as much as what I do. Alright, thank you for watching the video. This is Jimmy at Hairy Campers. Don't forget to hit the like button, and if you want to see this old mug getting around again, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.